Not doing this on video.
Oh man. Well, that just happened because I again forgot to do the stupid getting the actual intro before we start. So this is the rest of the Max Raw review. While I fumble through and try to find the actual intro for the Raw. Um, this is the Go Home Raw to SummerSlam, and it's from the Corpus Christi American Banks or Corpus Christi, Texas American Bank Center. And here we are starting. You are apparently on a way on Skype, so I don't know if that's going to affect anything here. You might want to change your icon there.
I'll have to figure that out. I didn't know I was away.
Yes. Don't know if that affects if it's recording us or not, but
It shouldn't. I think we're good to go. Nope,
all
we're ready.
right. Raw starting right now.
Wrestling to the Max, Monday Night Raw. Review.
All right, everybody, here we are. It is August 16th, 2016, and we are talking Monday Night Raw, everybody. I hope you were excited because we have an interesting one tonight. That's right. We've got more of Rusev in that U.S. title. That started the show, closed the show, and some in between. So we got plenty of stuff to talk about with that on this episode of Monday Night Raw review. But, there's a lot more stuff to get into. So let's get this thing kicked off. Sean, take it away.
All right. Well, I do like the fact that this last week on Raw video gets cooler every time. I do enjoy that. It's a nice little fun thing that they get to do that sort of makes it feel like a TV show.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas, SmackDown sort of feels more like this live event that's starting, the way that they start that show. So I like that you have the dichotomy of the two shows there. I don't know how you guys feel, but I think that's cool that you sort of had two different intros.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of interesting. It really was, and it didn't really bother me, to be honest with you. It was a little different, but not a big not a big problem.
I don't mind it at all. Like you said, anything to help differentiate the shows is better. The sort of cinematic videos they do to cover last week for Raw is a nice touch. Because obviously this is the flagship, and then over on SmackDown you sort of just dive right in like sort of a regular wrestling show, which maybe is meant to hype up that feel some more over there. But they do a good job on these.
Well, we start off with something that both shows have the gimmick of right now. The opening talk segment. At least this one sort of makes sense because this comes off of from something that happened in the middle of the show on Raw last week of Rusev and Lana being upset. We also had Seth Rollins saying that he's going to call out the Demon King as well during a sort of promo earlier in the day. But Rusev and Lana, they weren't done with their wedding celebration, so they were going to continue to have it, and they were not leaving. And then so Foley came out, of course, the GM, Mick Foley, and Rusev was great here. He just goes off on Nick Foley like, yeah, you suck as a GM, and you know what? You suck so bad that I'm going to call, even when he gets Stephanie out there, he's going to call little Daniel, and he's going to call your brother Shane, see maybe if he can switch shows. So I like that that's in play. When a wrestler is upset, he threatens to possibly go to the other show to get them to get what they want. Roman Reigns then comes out and cuts some terrible jokes. I'm sorry, this weren't funny. At least to me anyway. And Rusev wants to defend his woman's honor. So we get a non-title match, even though Roman Reigns has already been promised a title match in 6 days. We're going to have this match on Raw anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, they really are making these pay-per-views feel like they don't matter so much.
Yeah, this is interesting to me a lot, and I don't know if your camera is on, Sean, or not. I don't know. It doesn't show that it is on my side.
It's not. It's not. I need to actually do that. I'm sorry.
That's okay. I just want to remind you. But this is what's interesting to me. You're selling SummerSlam, right? This is the second biggest show that you have going. Correct? Am I wrong on that? Either of you guys disagree with that?
As far as
SummerSlam
I
is
know,
the
it's
second.
supposed to be.
Yeah, so it's supposed to be the second biggest show you have. It's your mid-season WrestleMania in a way. Not as big as WrestleMania, but pretty close. Saying that, it's interesting to me, the Go Home Raw, we're talking U.S. title, which is not a problem. Not a problem for me most of the time if it's a title that has been built up. But really right now, it's about halfway there for me. I really feel like you've got to have Seth Rollins in this whole Finn Balor situation maybe lead this show. It's interesting to me that they're leading with this, and especially with Roman Reigns not still being at the point of being a big fan favorite. That's also a problem to me. I think people are still confused about Roman Reigns. They're even more confused now because Rusev is a really good heel. I love Rusev as a heel. And I think that kind of confuses people on the Roman Reigns because they want to hate Roman Reigns, but they kind of like Roman compared to Rusev in a way. That's the way I feel for me personally. So that's what throws me off here. I want you to build towards one of the biggest pay-per-views you have. I don't feel like this did a great job of it because I don't know how excited we are about the U.S. title. I'm not at this moment.
They do a lot of stuff wrong in this feud already. First off, they're giving away the money match, for free on TV, and that's absolutely silly. And 25 minutes of that match, too, which is just ridiculous. Then you have the wires just still crossed here. Roman is coming out making fun of Lana and Rusev, saying they're going to have ugly babies and that Lana is a mail-order bride. That's a heel thing, and Rusev wants to defend her honor. That is clearly a face thing. What are you doing?
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
I don't get it.
I mean, if you were the vaudevillains and you're being chivalrous, okay, I get it. You're still back in those times. But anytime that you're sitting here talking about defending your woman or whatever, you're supposed to cheer for that guy, right? So now you have two guys that you're not really cheering for, and it's like, okay, just weird. And then not only that, you have Roman pin him. This is not a Roman needed this win in order to have the match on Sunday. This match was already given to Roman. What are we doing here? Like, of all the times not to do the disqualification finish, you don't do it here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, they needed something to get this feud going, and they did nothing more than continue to lay an egg with it.
Yeah, it's just such a bummer. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, I think that Rusev's doing a fine job for what he has to do. I just don't think it's working right now with him and Roman Reigns. I don't think it's a bad idea to have Roman Reigns in this position. I don't know. There's just something going on here that's just not connecting, and I can't really sometimes lay it out, but I'm not thrilled about it, to be honest with you. So there you go.
Yeah, certainly. And I mean, another thing that was, and this is what's so funny, is that because of what they do with the Roman and Rusev thing, they have a match later. They have the continuing thing with Cass and Enzo and Jericho and Owens, and so we have Cass and Owens here, and Jericho comes in and the match gets thrown out because Jericho comes in and starts hitting Cass. It's like, okay, we're going to protect this match, but we're not going to protect one of your big matches for SummerSlam. Okay. Well, whatever works for WWE at this point.
Mm-hmm.
It's just so weird, Gary.
It is. I don't understand it. To me, maybe they should look at some things that, they've done in the past. And I get it, this is a new era, they're doing things, but I just don't think, I don't even know if their head's in this game. It just seems like they're kind of halfway doing this. It makes me wonder if this brand extension has spread them a little bit and have kind of thrown them off. Maybe they shouldn't have done it so close to SummerSlam. I don't know. It just doesn't feel like a big show type of atmosphere at this point. And this is a go home Raw.
They went the way we thought they were going to go when we talked about this last week of Cass going over Kevin Owens in their match after Jericho went over Enzo last week. So no surprises here. I don't know. It doesn't feel like a big time match. And maybe it's not supposed to. Maybe it's only supposed to just be a little feature, whatever. But it doesn't feel big time.
Yeah. We've kind of bragged on Kevin Owens. I love Kevin Owens, and I'm a big Chris Jericho fan, even though I'm not a giant fan of this gimmick he's got going on right now. It's whatever. But at the same time, with Kaz and Enzo, these two guys are funny. They try to be funny. Tonight wasn't their best funny. I'm sorry, it just was not. They did a decent job. It's just, kind of fell flat. So, saying all that, I mean, this seems like something they kind of threw together. Once again, it just doesn't seem like that they had everything ready to go. It's like, hey, we need something else for these guys to do. What can we do? Oh, these two guys aren't doing something. Have them face Enzo and Kaz.
Well, Sami Zayn's still not doing something either. But, they
mean,
couldn't... Go
ahead. I get the point, because Kevin Owens and Jericho are bigger stars than what you've done with Enzo and Cass so far. So that's the point, is that you get to feature them in a bigger match with these other guys. They just haven't done a build very well here. It seems almost haphazardly thrown together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, they are trying to make Enzo and Cass feel like they're on their level, and you got to start somewhere. So, I mean, I don't have a problem with this, because you got Jericho and Owens have good chemistry with each other, and they usually are funny, like Gary said. Maybe not this time, but yeah. Another thing that was something that I think they did pretty well. They continued this thing with Heath Slater and his quest to try to get on one of these rosters. And so who does he come out and interrupt? But Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman during the little segment here where we're trying to really promote Brock and make this a big deal between him and Randy Orton, as they've done through this whole build. And Heath Slater once again talks about having his kids and everything else, and Brock basically just goads Slater in the ring talking about, hey, look, man, I got kids too, I understand. Mm-hmm. I don't give a fuck about your kids. And that was great.
Oh, it was the best part of the night.
I loved it. I mean, Brock being short and sweet, didn't have to say a whole lot, and the crowd loved this too, which is what you want with Lesnar. Anytime he gets to beat people up, that's what they want to see with the guy. So,
it's exactly what the crowd wants to see, and that's fine. I appreciate it too. What I love about this is not exactly really the Brock Lesnar part, which it's fine on its own. It has its own, point to it, so I love it. Heath Slater is just doing a great job. We saw him do this when they were leading up to Raw 1000 with all the legends coming back and to beat him up, and it was funny because all the old guys were doing their old, finishers and things like that. Like, you remember Lita came out and pinned him. That was hilarious. It was cool. But, this is just another way of doing it, and he's just doing excellent. I love it. I'm loving Heath Slater every moment. Every night we get a chance to see him. We'll probably see him on SmackDown again. So this is fun, and I got to give these two guys credit. They did a great job tonight.
Yeah, I mean, anytime you get to make Brock look awesome, that's great, and Heath has been knocking it out of the park with this role, so there's nothing bad to talk about here. This is all good stuff.
Yeah, I enjoy that. Heath Slater's been on it with this free agency thing. So, I mean, this has really worked out for him as far as like getting the show personality and everything. And they went from last week to basically if he wouldn't have talked so much, he would have got a title shot, to this week. It's like, well, you put it all on the line against the biggest guy you got, and you just got whooped. So, I mean, it'll be interesting to see what they do for SmackDown. I mean, they've already kind of hit the high. I don't know what else you can do. I mean, how much crazier this can get for Heath, but it's interesting to see what they can do. Nia got to squash someone, so that's always a plus.
She got to squash. What was that character? It looks like that Pixar movie. Who was that character from?
From what, Sadness?
Elsa?
Oh, Elsa.
No. The Emotions movie.
That from Sadness.
It's not Sadness.
Or
it was
Joy, or
no, the main character.
Oh,
the
girl?
main emotion.
Joy.
Yeah, Joy.
Was that Joy?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, Joy. Yeah, that's what it looked like. They looked like Nia Jax squash Joy. The blue hair, the whole. I thought it was kind of comical myself. So if only would have had Sadness there. That'd have been awesome.
I thought she cut a good promo.
Yeah, she did. I'm not hating on it. I think she did a great job. I just thought the look was kind of funny. So
apparently she's Delia Doom on the Indies, so
okay.
She has experience doing this thing. The Dudley Boys, whatever they're doing with them, continues here as a product of the New Day and Gallows and Anderson feud. I liked the Dr. Anderson thing last week. This week it sort of just was there for me. I don't know. The jokes they were trying to tell just weren't hitting. And I almost feel like I'm watching Steins Gate here, where we got a microwave going on. We're trying to explode things in a microwave. I mean, I don't know. Probably that's a reference that no one got. But I don't know. I like the New Day being a bit more serious, but that's about it for me. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think you said it all right there. These guys, sometimes can be kind of funny. I really like Gallows and Anderson. It just wasn't really hitting home. It just wasn't. These guys were kind of funny. The New Day was good. I think, you're right on that it's kind of cool to see them in a serious mode and to get their point across the way they had to do it. But besides that, I mean, this just was not all that thrilling. It felt very much go home like, hey, we've kind of run out of ideas until we get to the actual show. So let's do as little as we can, but still be out there.
I mean, once again, you have a feud probably built around the wrong idea here of pretty much Doc and Gallows and Anderson making fun of Big E's injury to his groin, and it's all just testicle humor, and that's all it is. That's the entire feud, and that's not really a lot of anything.
Yeah. Add Mr. Bean to this, and maybe it'll be funnier.
What a great show!
Yeah.
Oh God! Wait, wasn't he a host or something at one point, or am I dreaming about that?
Rowan Atkinson has done so much things; it's incredible.
Yeah.
I swear he appeared on Raw. I don't know. Maybe he didn't.
I don't think he's been on Raw.
But yeah, I mean, it would be interesting. The thing is too, almost none of the wrestling here was good on this show. It was a bit average. I mean, it also hurts when you've been watching 3 straight nights of wonderful wrestling in the G1, and then you watch Raw and you're like, oh my God, this is painful.
Can I tell the truth? Ring of Honor comes on the exact same time every Monday night at 8 o'clock. That's Central. And I was sitting there and I was watching it as we watched Raw because I knew Raw was going to have some things that I could watch as I watched Ring of Honor. I found myself ignoring Raw during the matches, not during the segments, but during the matches at times because I kind of could call the next move. It was very lackluster. It just was not there for me. I kind of felt like I was, in Gorilla, just like, I kind of know what's going on. I can talk to you kind of thing, So, and that was very, good compared to what I think we saw on Raw and Ring of Honor. So I'll be honest with you, Sean. I feel you on that. The wrestling part was not as great tonight.
Sounds very blah from what I've read from the various reports so far.
Yeah, it's one of these where I think we're going to save it for the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
There's no need to overextend ourselves, possibly get somebody hurt, sort of thing, before we get to the big 5-hour extravaganza, guys. You ready for that? Or no, 6-hour. Excuse me. There's a 2-hour pre-show we got to sit through.
There's a part of me that I'm glad I'll be working.
Yeah. How much can I fast forward to that whole pre-show? I can't wait.
I mean, they might try to put 4 matches on that pre-show. From the looks of it, we don't even know if they're going to try to stick something from SmackDown.
Yeah, and
tomorrow.
one may actually matter, actually, so that's exciting.
Yeah, I mean, because we know we're going to get a best-of-7 series from Cesaro and Sheamus after Cesaro caused Sheamus to multiple times distract him and cause him to lose to Sami Zayn. I'm not going to argue about a best-of-7 between Cesaro and Sheamus, though.
Those guys bring some hard-hitting matches to everybody every time they hook it up. So I got no problem with it. These guys were made to fight each other.
It's fine. You guys are right on that, but I fear best of 7. We're gonna see. It's gonna start getting to that whole monotonous thing. I don't care how good of hard hitting or whatever they want to do in their matches becomes. I don't know. That's a little far fetched for me. Why not do best of 3? I just don't want to see 7.
Usually, when they announce a best of 7, they go out of their way to differentiate the matches. Usually. I won't say it's always true, but they usually go out of their way. And especially with 2 workers like Cesaro and Sheamus, I'm not worried about it.
Yeah.
Well, the only part I worry is the Sheamus part. I worry about the Sheamus part. And when he's in multiple matches, I'm not usually thrilled.
This guy is.
I don't blame you. I don't at all. I mean, hey, I love seeing David Arquette in matches, but not everybody else does either, so that happens.
Boy.
I think you're in a very small minority there.
I think so too.
Man.
Cesaro is that dude, and Sheamus, he brings up his end match-wise, so I'm the same as Paul. I'm not worried about that so much.
Yeah.
And knowing Cesaro, he's not going to be, and going with Sheamus, he's a veteran as well. They're not going to be sitting there trying to give you the same match every time, with escalation happening when you get to some of the latter. There'll be some, gimmick where somebody grabs ropes. There'll be other things that are going to happen. There's going to be reasons to watch every match, Some of these matches may only last a couple minutes.
Yeah, if they add brass knuckles in, I will rethink my whole stance.
Hey,
they might.
Wrong with it.
Hey, William Regal is around, so.
It's true.
Very true. So, we have a lot of fluff on this show.
Yes.
Which is okay because it's a go home and you don't want to be just beating women, you don't want to be doing Rusev and Reigns in every segment here. So, you've got the primetime players reuniting for one night to face the Shining Stars, only for Titus to turn on him. So we can have a match, I guess, on the pre-show. I don't know what this is going to wind up being, but Lord, did I not care. And Neville beats Jinder Mahal. I think they're really positioning that, like Larry kind of mentions here, I think Neville's going to be a guy that they're going to be talking about for the Cruiserweight division. And I honestly don't know where Neville fits unless you're going to put him in a tag team. I think if you're going to use one main roster guy to put in the Cruiserweight division, Neville makes total sense for me, so I'm not totally upset by it. And so crazy, Jinder. We're already hindering him. He's just right back where he was.
Somebody's got to get squashed.
Poor guy. Yeah, but I think Jinder pretty much knew what he was getting into. Paychecks aren't bad. So.
Jinder probably was not getting a paycheck steady anywhere. He's probably like, oh, they're offering me a deal. I'm taking this right now.
Yeah.
And you can't blame him, because I think
Huh?
I'd do the same.
Yeah.
And we were, kind of talking about the primetime player thing. That was kind of interesting because you kind of thought, wow, well, what's this deal? Why would it be? You kind of saw it coming, of course, Titus is going to turn, and that's okay. I mean, it continues this whole feud. It gets under Bob Backlund's skin even more. So I think it's fine setup for their match.
It's fine. Just nobody cares.
No doubt.
Nobody cares.
No. Yeah, I even questioned, what if people care about something else that happened on this show when it comes to the women's division.
Yeah, I mean, Charlotte beat Alicia Fox, who we haven't seen in ages. Just popping up randomly. That's always a plus there. She's just there, and it's one of those where, okay, Charlotte gets to look strong for her title challenge with Sasha, so I don't mind those.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, this sounds fun. It's easy segment.
Easy segment, and I think what is interesting here is the whole Charlotte tears down Dana Brooke before she has her match, basically saying, you didn't do anything for me, you're worthless, I can move on without you. Then, of course, Dana Brooke being the helper to help her, once again, she, helps Charlotte. So there you go. I mean, I kind of thought, well, they're cutting things loose here, then they're not. So, but still, does anybody really care? I don't know.
Probably not, but it's just one of those things. I mean, it's a segment that really helps promote Charlotte as far as, okay, now she looks strong going into the pay-per-view. It's not, and that's what it's meant to be.
Right.
It's one of the few segments that really does that. Few segments that either sets up something for the pay-per-view or really, kind of gets you going into that. So, it sucks because a lot of your go-home shows should be that, but they chose not to do it here. Really weird for them. And, we talked about Rusev and Reigns giving something away. Oh, my God. They did. They also did Carl Anderson Golden Truth to sort of do the same thing and make Anderson and Gallows look strong. But afterwards, the New Day kind of came and laid out Anderson and Gallows, or at least Anderson anyway. So, poor dude can't catch a break.
Yeah.
God.
No. Once again, I mean, this is fine and all, but, I mean, it just kind of furthers, us getting to that big match. Besides that, there's nothing really to this. I mean, it was okay.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't sound like it's anything overly special, but, I mean, you're building towards something, I guess. It's just you don't have a lot of interest because you've not done the booking right before this, so why should anybody care now?
Exactly.
Yeah, it's just Gallows and Anderson should have squashed them in about a couple minutes. There's no reason for that to go on, but whatever. So the other big storyline that was going out through the show was Seth Rollins looking for the Demon King, wanting to call out the Demon King. All this stuff, he's going everywhere trying to find him. Neville kind of punks him out a little bit, saying, "Look, man, you're not ready." And so Seth Rollins comes out to, I think this started the 10 o'clock hour, if I'm not mistaken. He comes out to call out the Demon King like he said he was going to. And I really wish they would have just left it as calling him the Demon. Because I agree with... I kept hearing Demon Kane in my head. Sometimes. And just calling him the Demon would not have been bad. Like he had been called at NXT for all those weeks and all those months. Just always has to be Vince trying to put his spin on everything. I can't... This is where it automatically, for me, tells me that the pay-per-views no longer matter. They are vehicles that are you already have the audience on the network. So why do we need to make these pay-per-views feel important? They're just live content for the network we really need to get you to watch Raw because that's where our revenue is from. So we're going to give away the Demon Balor entrance on Raw 6 days before SummerSlam.
I'm like you. I kept hearing Demon Kane. I did. I kept thinking, why is Seth Rollins facing Kane? Is Kane even on this roster? I think he's on SmackDown. And I realized he's saying King. It's so hard sometimes to understand Seth Rollins. His accent. Is he from Iowa or something like that? So sometimes maybe I just don't understand. Texas has their own way of doing things. Of course, their accent confuses lots of people. So saying all that, I kind of got thrown off by that. But then this whole thing, the revelation of the actual demon showing up, I didn't like it. And not that I didn't like the demon. Trust me, big NXT fan, big Finn Balor fan. I like him. Problem, he shows up to do a go home segment. I don't like that. It was supposed to be special. It's supposed to be exciting. I really felt like you could do this on Monday Night Raw later. Do you really have to showcase him on Raw like this?
No,
Maybe
you do it at SummerSlam. Like the whole point, and I thought this was just going to be a big like scam. Like we're going to have him call him out, but the demon, they're going to do this stuff with the lights. They're going to whatever, but he's not going to come out. Or he's just going to, Finn Balor's going to come out. It's not going to be the demon. And oh no, we gave it all away. Mm-hmm. And it's just, why?
You guys nailed it. This makes zero sense. You have Finn come out and play the, hey man, you don't get to control the demon. The demon does what he wants, and he's going to come when it matters most. And you call Seth a little bitch, and you move on. And that's all you got to do. That's all you got to do. And instead they blow this, and according to Larry, they shot it even poorly and everything, and that's awful in its own right because it's supposed to be big and important and feel epic. And if you're just giving it away in the point where it feels like another entrance, then you've already killed the magic.
And that's how they did it on NXT. They didn't have the demon really even show up unless it was for that match. You didn't see him. Balor would talk about it. He would say you're going to get the demon, or he just wouldn't say, and you would assume you're getting the demon. And then you see him during the match. You don't get to see him like come out as the demon for the go home or anything like that. He doesn't need to use it as a scare tactic. We already know it exists. Mm-hmm. And I get that they need to establish it, but it's like you need to have the crowd reaction. You need to have the crowd that is going to eat this up. And yeah, the crowd here for Corpus Christi, which is normally a terrible crowd, by the way, mm-hmm. They sort of got it, and they got that this is awesome and whatever, and it's cool, but just the explosion that would have happened in Brooklyn is far from what you got here. And it would have meant something. You could have seen Rollins shit his pants right there before the match. I mean, like, you just don't need it. Now he has 6 days to sort of get out of his system, and it's not going to feel like a big deal. Just,
if you ask me the way I would have handled this whole thing, I would have took a page out of what they used to do with Sting. If you remember with Sting, you would see him somewhere, but he would not be. Now, I'm not saying put the demon in the rafters or anything like that. What I mean by that is the lights go out, lights come on, there he is, stands up, lights go out again, he's not there, to play with Seth Rollins' mind. If you want to show him at all, scare him. Make that a part of this. Don't actually have him physically involved with Seth Rollins. Don't have him do so much. Don't do the whole entrance. It was just overexposure, if you ask me, because now what's special about SummerSlam? Nothing with this match. Just the match itself, that's about it.
Nailed it.
Yeah, you killed that one. I don't need to say how sad it has been since this draft. You absolutely killed it on that first show. And every Raw since has been an absolute downgrade. Just how bad does it get? Look, SummerSlam, we're going to be talking about it. It's probably going to be one of those show of the year contenders. We'll be talking about it in the same way we talked about Battleground, I'm sure.
Mhm.
Okay? And that's cool. That's great. And I get it. You have everybody already connected with the network. Or you feel like you do. And you don't need to try hard on the Raws to get people to watch it because they're already invested. They're going to watch anyway. But man, give me a reason to watch your show. Other than the fact that we just do this because we're doing a podcast. Like, give me a reason to want to be excited about watching your show. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
I felt like I could, and let's be honest, I only watched half this Raw, and I feel like I missed nothing.
You really didn't. I watched the entire thing, and sure, I had my attention split a little bit, but that was mainly during the main event, and I don't think I really missed much there either. So saying all that, I mean, it's a normal go home. You don't expect too much. You expect a little build, but they're not going to give away the house. That's fine. But man, this really felt like that they were trying, but they were half trying. Like, we're going to give away some of the most important things, but we're only going to half do our job. That's the way I felt the entire night. And like I said, I mean, I hate to say it, but I was watching another product at the same time I was watching this, and I kept finding myself not watching this. And that's good for the product, but not for WB. So.
Yeah, and you know what's sad too is, I don't know if you noticed, guys, but that headdress was made out of belts.
Really?
For Finn Balor. It wasn't even, it was like a homemade thing they did that night. Like, they didn't decide until that night, probably like an hour before, that they were going to go ahead and do the Demon entrance, and Val was like, oh shoot, I don't have my stuff. So they just had to do it there. Like, oh my god. Ugh.
I thought it looked a little weird.
Why do it?
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I guess they kept thinking about the ratings, which I understand you want ratings, but the third hour is hard enough to sell. If you're not selling it in the first 2 hours, you're not getting people to stay anyway. So why give away something this big? But there you go. It's WB's theory, I guess. Their way of doing things. So.
Yep. So, I've already seen some of these killer ratings this show got. Where are we going with this?
I'm going to go with a 4. I could care less about most of this show. The best thing was Brock Lesnar and Heath Slater, and that was really nothing super great either.
Oh. Yeah, I'll give it a 3.5. You had a few segments that actually worked as go-home segments to make guys look strong. But even then, you didn't really, do much for it. You didn't need either squash match on this show because neither one of the people are doing anything on the pay-per-view unless you're going to have Nia or Braun waste 5 minutes to do. I guess you could do that, to waste 5 minutes of a cool-down segment or something if one of the matches really goes long or gets really hot at SummerSlam. But man, just the stories that they had going throughout the show turned out to just be bad. And you're talking about some very small amounts of show that were worth something.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even think you have an hour worth of television here that's worth your time. And 4 feels generous, almost. Obviously, I haven't watched a lot of this show or anything like that, so me giving a rating might seem kind of
Please don't go back and waste your time and watch.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at. I don't even need to watch the show. I've missed nothing. I don't even think that's worth a Bret Hart special. This is like a 3, maybe a 2. This is awful.
Yeah.
Yep. I don't know how they can get worse than this, but I'd imagine the SummerSlam after Raw, you're not going to go that route. You'd at least have some debuts or something, you'd hope, that will sort of offset that. But, yeah.
All right. Well, that is Monday Night Raw for everybody. Not the most pleasant, but hey, it's there. We just want to let everybody know that we are doing a special, SummerSlam episode. That'll be Sunday night after the pay-per-view. It will be a great show because it'll be us all involved, and we'll, of course, have Patrick Ketza. Hopefully, Harry Broadhurst will join us. That show will be Wrestling Unwrapped to the Max. If you want to go check that out, that's the title. Come get a hold of our thoughts and our theories post SummerSlam right there. Of course, it'll be available on the download Monday morning. And where will it be? On the W2M network. That's right. That's the place to find it. I hope you go check it out because it's going to be a lot of fun for us to do. And, maybe we'll get into more about was it better than we expected, or man, was it like this Monday Night Raw? Did it let us down? We'll let you know if you come check out that. Plus, we're also doing our normal episode of Wrestling to the Max. That'll be episode 208, I believe. And that'll be part 1. We'll be doing that tonight following this episode of Monday Night Raw that we're doing a review over. So go check that out. And, of course, we'll be doing the part 2 on Thursday live. Be Friday for the download. And so some great stuff coming your way. And also, don't forget, if you want to come check us out for NXT, not only are we going to talk NXT on that part 2, we're going to do NXT TakeOver on Saturday night. That's right, guys. So it'll be available on Sunday on the download if you can't stay up late. But Saturday night on the, I don't want to say Saturday Night Live. I think that's probably copyrighted. Saturday night, LIVE. That will actually be what we'll be doing on Spreaker.com. All our episodes are live on Spreaker.com. If you're looking for us, go there. They'll be there. You'll see a little logo says live right by our, show episode. Go check us out there. But if you just want to check us out on download, it's always available the next day. Well, guys, unless you have anything else, we are getting out of here. We appreciate everybody who's checked us out tonight. Of course, go check out the W2M Facebook group. They'll have their own opinions about Monday Night Raw. Plus, trust me, you need to go check those out. I'm sure there's a lot of bad things too. But anyway, we will see you guys later. And, why don't you always remember, if you're not living life to the max,
Not living life at all.
You know it.
Later.